Hey everybody, I know you're going, oh my God, where have you been? I was gone for the last week. My husband and I went on vacation, and today's my first day back at work. Yuck. And we went to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, to the Smoky Mountain Storytelling Festival, because, as some of you know, my husband is a storyteller, and I've been known to spin a yarn or two myself. We had a good time at the festival. We actually came back Sunday, and I had big plans to get something together and make 2 or 3 videos on Monday and Tuesday. I pulled into our driveway Sunday afternoon about, I guess, around 1 or 2 p.m. It wasn't too late. And I did not go out and get back in my car until this morning to come to work, and today's Wednesday. So I kind of took a couple of days off. And I kind of hibernated in my house, which was good. I needed it, I guess. I have been watching a lot of videos, and I've been kind of got caught up on everybody. As a matter of fact, you guys weren't really producing, because I had, you know, like 2 days to watch videos, and I wasn't seeing a lot. But I can't complain a lot because I haven't put up a video in a week. I've been filming a lot. I filmed a lot of the area up there for Carrie, because she loves Tennessee, and she loves, you know, bluegrass, and she loves country music and Dolly Parton and all that stuff. And we were going up there, and my husband's dad, before he died, he was living in a house that Dolly Parton's oldest sister lived in when she first got married. And I was wanting to take pictures of that for her, and I did, and I sent her one little video, put it up private for her because it was unedited and all that, and I did that just for her. And then I have like god-awful amounts of video on my computer that's not edited. You know, I just don't know if I'm going to put it up or not. And just, you know, the thought of, like, well, I'll just put up a short video, just get clips. Oh, God, that's too much work. So eventually you'll probably see some of the footage from Pigeon Forge. I would love for at least Carrie to get to see it. You know, that kind of not the touristy part, but where people actually live up there in the mountains. It's really beautiful. It wasn't really a beautiful time of year to go. It was all gray, and the mountains were really smoky because there was a lot of fog and low clouds and stuff. The road across the mountain was closed because it was covered in ice and snow, and so they had the road closed. It didn't actually snow much where we were. It snowed a little bit, but not even enough to get on the road, you know. But we had a couple of sunny days there, but it was still cold, very, very cold. And in all my videos, that's all you hear me talking about, is how cold it is. And then today in North Georgia, I'm in Cartersville, Georgia right now, it's like 60 degrees. This is what makes people sick, and I've had a runny nose all day. And I think that's why, because I went from so cold to so warm. It makes a person sick. Okay, so I've already wasted 1,000,000 hours of this video. This is actually, I know it doesn't sound like it to start out, but this is actually a video response to Peaches number. Is it 927? Peaches? Pam. Anyway, it's Pam. And she is very crafty. And she did a video the other day, and I watched it, I think, while I was in Tennessee, actually. And she bought a bag of buttons, and she was just so thrilled with it. She kept saying, I know it's so silly, but honey, I'm just eat up with the same disease you have, because I love to buy stuff like that. But I'm not really that crafty. I do knit. I love to knit, and I love buttons as well. And they sell just bags of buttons in craft stores, and sometimes it'll be all, just regular flat buttons, and sometimes it'll be just like odd pieces that are really just all kinds of different things. And I like to just put them in a jar. This is what I do. I put my buttons in a jar and sit them on the shelf. And anytime I want to, I can look at them, and I know exactly what you mean, Pam, because it's like just fascinating. You can just sit here and stare, and every time you look, you see something different, and it's so much fun. Now this is where my love for buttons came from, though. My maternal grandmother, Grandma Freeman. Now, I've not introduced you to her yet. I did a video of my Grandma Adams, but this is my Grandma Freeman. She lived with us for several years, up until I was about 6, I guess. And then she moved and lived with an uncle just for a little while before she died. But she died shortly thereafter. But, you know, if anybody that has, I don't know if northern people do this or not. I know in the South they did it. People that were poorer, especially, I don't know anything about the rich families, but you never threw away a button. If something got too small for you or too old, you used the cloth for rags, and you cut all the buttons and snaps and everything off, and you didn't throw them away. You put them into some kind of container. And my Grandma Freeman, in her chifforobe, used to have a box. I think she actually had, well, no, maybe it was a mason jar. I can't remember. It was either like a metal, like a fruitcake tin, or a mason jar. I can't remember now which one she had, because a lot of different people in my childhood kept buttons. And I would go in there and ask her, could I play with her buttons? And that was the biggest thrill of my life, was to be able to play with my grandma's buttons. And she would let me dump all those buttons out on her bed. And usually she had like a chenille bedspread, you know, and it was all bumpy and everything, so you didn't really have any smooth area to play. But you could like learn to count with buttons. You could learn your colors, because we would put all the white ones together, all the black ones together, all the red ones together, and then all the ones with 4 holes we put in one spot, or all the ones with 2 holes. And then sometimes we'd group them by size. So, you know, there is, anybody that has children at home, there is a whole math class, several math classes in this jar. You can teach them all kinds of things, especially something like this, because there are buttons shaped like flowers. There are buttons with words written on them. There are buttons in all kinds of different shapes and have embellishments and just anything. I don't know if you guys can see in there, but this is a toy and a lesson for a child in a jar. So I know you have a little boy. I don't know if he's old enough to start playing with the buttons yet, but keep that in mind. Of course, you can't let the little ones play with the buttons, because, you know, they get choked on them. But when they get big enough to know not to eat them, you can let them play with the buttons. And I spent many an hour, you know, rainy days when we couldn't go outside, I would sit on Grandma's bed and play with her buttons for hours on end. So the big ones that came off of her coats, she'd have an old coat, she'd have a big old button about that big, and those were always like, you know, gold doubloons or some kind of treasure, some kind of piece of jewelry. Your imagination can just, kids don't have imaginations anymore. You know, they watch too much TV and video games, and they learn stuff from like Blue's Clues and Dora the Explorer. They learn a lot, but there's something to be said for learning from something simple like this. So buy your kid a jar of buttons, and don't let them have the buttons if they're too little and they get choked, because then I would just feel really bad if somebody got choked on a button. But when they get big enough to not eat them, get them a jar of buttons. And thanks, Pam, for the good memory of my grandmother.